Conservative New Media viewers, Jeremy Lin, fans around the world, what's up? It's me, PFV, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here to discuss Brooklyn's 99-95 defeat tonight to the Charlotte Hornets in Brooklyn, New York. Charlotte improves to 4-1 on the season, and Brooklyn falls to 2-4 on the year. Let's go over stats very quickly. Kemba Walker, 30 points, 6 rebounds for the Hornets. Nicholas Batum, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Spencer Hawes, 13 points off the bench. The Nets were led by Sean Kilpatrick's 19 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists off the bench. 18 points from Brook Lopez, 14 points from Bojan Bogdanovic, and there were 2 other players in double figures as well. Trevor Booker, 12 points, 13 rebounds. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. What happened in this game was very close, mostly throughout the game, although Brooklyn had a substantial lead early on in the first quarter and also into the second quarter. They led by 13 points twice in this game. The game turned in the third quarter. The Hornets came out of halftime. They were very focused. They really picked up their defense, and kind of their chemistry and experience playing with one another, I thought, kind of overmatched Brooklyn a little bit. And so they were able to kind of push the Hornets back a little bit on their heels, and they won that quarter by 10 points. And that really was when the game changed. The statistics of this game are really close, extremely close in almost all categories. Brooklyn definitely could have won this game. It's just for that third quarter. I think Brooklyn has had some other issues with the third quarter this season as well, so it's just something they're going to have to work on. So that's the overview of what took place in this game. However, I thought Brooklyn, there's a tremendous amount of positives from this game, and I'll talk about that in just a second. The first thing I want to say is that prior to the game, a report came out saying that the Nets are listening or are willing to listen to trade offers for Brook Lopez. And the report said basically they're not actively looking to get rid of him, but they will listen to offers. We've talked about this in previous videos this season, that we think there's a good chance that Brook will get traded, or certainly that he might be traded. And this report kind of confirms that. And look, Brook is starting to hit three-pointers, no question. But just this system isn't a perfect fit for him because of how much motion there is, because of how much movement there is, and because it really works best for larger players like forwards and centers who can shoot the ball consistently. Brook is getting better, but that's not something that he's practiced consistently throughout his career. He is a player that is more suited to post up and to play closer to the basket. Also, what happened in the third quarter was, just coming back to the game, was Charlotte double-teamed Brook, and it kind of took him out of the offense. And it basically, the Nets were forced to sit Brook on the bench to kind of get their offense into gear. So that's another thing. Teams can double-team him and kind of take him out of the game in that instance, because they're taking him away from his comfort zone. He wants to be close to the basket, and they're not letting him do that. And that kind of goes to him fitting into this offense. Brook is, for his size, he's relatively agile. But the way that the Nets are playing, it's better to have guys that are quicker. And that's an important element, and that are ready to move around a lot. And because of Brook has also had issues with injuries in the past to his lower body, that again makes this offense maybe not a perfect fit for him. So that is out there right now, and I just wanted to let you guys know about that. Now, here's the good news. Brooklyn came out in this game without Jeremy Lin, who was sitting on the first game of his hamstring injury hiatus, without Randy Foye, and without Greivis Vasquez, and they played really hard and they played really well, particularly early in this game. As I mentioned a few moments ago, the primary reason in my mind why Brooklyn lost this game is because Charlotte's core of Batum and Kemba and Cody Zeller, they're more used to playing with one another than Brooklyn's core is. Brooklyn has a bunch of new guys, and they're just not as familiar with one another, and that can lead to a couple of positive things for the guys that are more used to playing with one another, and that's what happened in this game. However, Isaiah Whitehead played well. I thought he showed a lot of composure. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson played well. He was actually made 2 of 2 from three-point range, and he's not noted as a really good shooter, so that was big. The guys came out and they looked very determined, they looked very confident, and they looked very unified. So what's happening is the camaraderie and the chemistry and the positive environment and the team's culture change is starting to take effect. And Jeremy is, I'm sure, 100% part of this. Jeremy is one of the leaders of the team, and Jeremy's the type of guy that's going to help you out, give you positive reinforcement, and kind of develop the skills of the younger players. Guys like Sean Kilpatrick, guys like Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. If you follow Jeremy's career and you know what he's going through, not all teams are like this. They don't have necessarily an attitude or an atmosphere of positivity. Jeremy went through tons of stuff with the Lakers. A lot of whispers and a report here or there about screaming, and we know that Kobe's whole toilet paper tirade, negativity, stuff that Jeremy had to deal with in Houston, and people yelling at one another and this type of thing. And I think that the Nets culture seems like the opposite of that. And what's happening then is these group of individuals, some of them are young players that just don't have much experience at all yet, like Rondae, like Isaiah Whitehead. They're able to develop and be nurtured in a positive way. And you get guys that are cast-offs, like Anthony Bennett, like Joe Harris. And these guys are used to failing and not being able to cut it and not making it, and now you're building up their confidence too. This almost reminds me of a Mike D'Antoni team. Mike is really well known for building up the team, or building up guys that maybe aren't that good, or that other teams don't consider good, and then they end up hitting a new level in their abilities. That's what's happening here. These guys are really starting to play with belief. They're really starting to play with confidence, and they're coming out, and they don't look like a team that expects to be the worst team in the league. If they win this game, they're 3-3, and they're playing without 3 of their top guard rotation players. So I was extremely impressed with just how they looked and how they approach this game. I mean, again, this team isn't supposed to be anything. This team is supposed to win 20 games the entire season. But you can see that they don't believe that. They believe they belong, and they believe they can win. And they're playing with purpose. They're playing hard. They're playing aggressively. Joe Harris was once again aggressive in this game and getting to the basket. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, it's like, man, So, hold on to hope with him. And it's like you get a game like this, and it's like, yeah, this is what he can do, and this is what he's doing right now. I'm just really, really happy about this. Even with the loss, it's a shame that they lost. They definitely could have won this game. Charlotte is a good team, and they improved to 4-1 tonight. They're, I think, top 5 in defense. They're a solid team. They're a team that should make the playoffs. Certainly expects to make the playoffs. This is not an easy opponent, and Brooklyn gave them everything tonight. It's just, as I said, the letdown or the inability to win was just had to do with the lack of refined chemistry that only comes through playing with guys over at least a season, just so you know what their tendencies are, where they're going to be in certain plays, and so forth. And that's why I think that Brooklyn lost. But I'm really happy about this. You can see it. It's like watching a flower grow. It's starting to bloom. You can see it with your own eyes. And this is a very good sign for this team. And quite frankly, I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. But it's obvious that guys are feeling good about the atmosphere. They like playing with one another, which can be a huge thing. Sometimes if guys don't like each other, you can see it on the court. You can see it on the court. And guys will just blow each other off, and they don't want to, there's arguments and all. This team doesn't have any of that. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, they're the opposite of that. They're showing that they do like each other and that they are fighting for each other, even though they're not highly regarded players, most of these guys, or they're too young to be highly regarded. But it's coming. It's happening, and it's happening pretty quickly. So this was definitely a good outing for the team, and I just it was good to watch. It really was. Greivis apparently may not be coming back soon, and that would be really unfortunate if it's true. Ian Eagle on Yes Network during the game mentioned that, yeah, there's no timetable for Greivis to come back. Greivis had ankle surgery, and maybe he came back too soon. Maybe he rushed it. Maybe his ankle wasn't ready for the wear and tear of basketball yet, but we certainly hope that Greivis can heal up as quickly as possible, but take the time to heal fully, which is exactly what Jeremy needs to do. If you're not familiar with hamstring injuries, they're really nagging. The hamstring is not something you want to play around with. You need to let it heal 100% before you mess with it, or else it'll get re-injured easily and it will linger. Jeremy said today before the game that he's never had an injured hamstring ever in his entire time that he's played basketball, since I'm imagining since he was a kid. So you don't want to have problems with him. So even if it takes longer than 2 weeks, or takes more time, or 3 weeks, just do it. It's good you never had it before, and you don't want to have it again. So that's where Jeremy's at. Randy Foye, who is also coming back from a hamstring issue that I think happened about 2 weeks ago in practice. He was active tonight, but he did not play. And it was mentioned that maybe he's not playing because he didn't practice. Usually coaches like to have guys practice and kind of get in the flow before they put them in game situations. And I'd say the same thing with Randy Foye. Make sure that hamstring is all the way healed. Don't rush him back. As much as we want him back, he's got to heal up. Look, like I said, Brooklyn played a 3-1 team without its starting backcourt, because I'm assuming Randy's going to start at shooting guard. And they should have, I don't know, I'd say they should have won, but they certainly could have won with young guys, with Isaiah Whitehead and Rondae Hollis-Jefferson starting. Isaiah's a rookie. This is good. And like I said, it's fun to watch. I said on Twitter during the game that I really enjoy watching this team play, even without Jeremy, because they're starting from the beginning. This is it's like watching something from step one. And not only are they starting from the beginning and starting out, but Jeremy is a big part of it. In other words, Jeremy is a key seed in the garden. And so what's going to happen, and when the plants start to blossom, Jeremy's a big part of that. And like I said, I know how he is as a leader. He's positivity and positive reinforcement and helping guys out rather than tough love and this type of thing. And like I said, you can see it. It's beginning to happen. This team can build up into something very formidable. It's going to take time. Yes, it's going to take different pieces on the roster, but they can become pretty darn good with what they have, which is what I said in the last video. The team is better than even I realized it could be, and I thought they were going to be pretty good. So I'm excited to watch this thing grow up. Just see the whole new culture, new coach, relatively new general manager, new training center, a whole bunch of new roster pieces, including Jeremy. Let's see what we can build up. And so even if Jeremy's not playing, his presence is still there, and he's still a part of what goes onto the floor in terms of the product. And it's just interesting. It's fun to watch. So I was just really happy for the guys tonight. And if they can do this, just imagine what they're going to be able to do when Jeremy's back and Randy Foye's playing and Greivis is back. I said Greivis, he's not super athletic or anything, but he really can pass the ball and he can run an offense well. And that's very valuable. Right now it's good. Isaiah's getting experience. Sean Kilpatrick is getting a chance to play point guard, which he did some in the summer league. It was also mentioned during the broadcast that Sean Kilpatrick and Kemba Walker are good friends, like from childhood. They both grew up in New York City. I didn't know that. That made me think that one of the reasons why Jeremy and Sean Kilpatrick are probably getting along so well so quickly, and that's been reported that is the case, is because I would imagine Kemba called up Sean and said, dude, Jeremy Lin on your team is going to be really good, and you're really going to like him. And I know that Jeremy is helping out Sean a lot. And look, Sean's performing great. I think Sean was in the D League before last year. And this guy, he's got talent. You could see it on this team. This guy is an important part of what this team can do. Particularly to have somebody of his ability coming off the bench. That's really an asset. So I'm very happy for Sean and proud of him because he's being forced to play point guard now. And he's doing a pretty good job. Basically, again, we're down to the third string point guard, and Sean's basically the fourth string point guard because he has to be, because Greivis and Jeremy are out. Randy Foye can handle the ball some as well. He's played in that position before. He's played it. He certainly can handle the ball. I don't know if he's played point or not, but I know he can handle the ball decently. So these guys are being forced into roles that they didn't expect that they were going to have to play, and they're doing it pretty well. So better times are definitely coming. It's good. The next game is not for several days, like a 4-day break or something. We'll talk about that in a second, but let the team rest up, go over the film. I do think Coach Atkinson is starting to get a handle on lineups a little bit better. What combinations does he want with whom? Of course, it's much tougher to do that when you're missing several key guards in your rotation. But as we mentioned in the last video, there is data out there now. Now you can start looking at it. Now you can start tinkering with who's playing with whom and start getting to where you want to be and the groups that you want. And I think that Coach Atkinson is starting to do that. So, look, hang in there. It is definitely going to get better. The key thing for the team right now is keep going and keep building up chemistry with one another, just in terms of, again, knowing tendencies and etc., and hopefully just be able to get healthy and stay healthy. I mean, that's going to be really important. It's too bad, man. If this team could have been 500, that'd be fantastic, but it's okay. Go out to the next game. Just try to get a win from there. You win that game, then you're only one game from 500 again. You can get to 4-4. So the next game coming up is on Tuesday, November 8th. So today's Friday, so that's whatever, 3 or 4 days away, I guess it is. It will be against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it will take place in Brooklyn, New York at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and it will be carried on Yes Network and also on NBA League Pass, as long as you're not in Minneapolis or New York City. But that's it for now. But like I said, I'm really encouraged by what I'm seeing. There's really something good happening here. I thought this game might be a lot tougher than what it turned out to be, and it wasn't tougher, and that's because of the effort and the cohesiveness of the Brooklyn players. And that just tells me that good things are happening behind the scenes. Coach Atkinson's taking care of business. The team and their performance people are taking care of business. The players are taking care of their bodies and getting things done. And Jeremy and Randy and Greivis are helping these guys out and building them up. And you can see it out on the court. It's going to be exciting to see what this team is going to be able to do maybe 15 games from now, assuming that people are healthy and these guys get to keep working with one another. I think you could see some really surprising things, particularly given what people thought was going to be the case with this team. So that's about it. Look, yeah. I mean, again, I feel good about it. I mean, I feel really good about it, having watched the game tonight. So hope you are having a great night or great day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care. We will talk to you again soon. If you live in the United States, we encourage you to get out and vote on November 8th, since we won't talk to you before that time. I don't expect to anyway make a video between now and then on Jeremy Lin. So sure, whoever you're voting for, get out and vote. It's a good thing. It's your responsibility as a citizen. So we certainly encourage you to do that. Okay, take care. We will talk to you again then on Tuesday, November 8th. Till then, be safe. Talk to you again. Minnesota Timberwolves versus Brooklyn